Welcome back to BNG Hockey, where it's always black and gold. The retooling of the Boston Bruins has finally begun as they make their first trade before the NHL's trade deadline. Let's talk about it. The Bruins trade forward Trent Frederic and forward Max Jones to the Edmonton Oilers for defenseman Max Wanner, a 2025 second-round pick, and a 2026 fourth-round pick. The New Jersey Devils are also involved in this trade as they retain 50% of Trent Frederic's contract. I love this trade for the Boston Bruins. I am sell. This team has been an absolute joke. As you can probably tell by me having a lot less videos, it's pretty hard to get inspired by this team. But I am ready for this trade deadline. I want to see pretty much everyone who's not named David Pastrnak. You can call me on those players. Obviously, I'm keeping Charlie McAvoy and a couple other players unless it's a really big trade package, but I want Geeky gone. I wanted Frederic gone. Getting rid of Max Jones is huge. That was such a pleasant surprise because his contract was just a rock sitting in the AHL, and he was signed for next year as well. So let's dive into this trade. I'll give you some more of my thoughts, and we'll talk about the players involved. Starting with the man himself, Trent Frederic. He's a 27-year-old, 6'3" left shot forward, originally selected in the 2016 draft, 29th overall by the Boston Bruins. This season, he is absolutely horrendous, playing in 57 games, only scoring 8 goals, 7 assists for a total of 15 points, and pretty much bringing nothing to the Bruins night after night. Even though he still seems to be a fan favorite, I think it's all because of the couple of fights that he had and more of his history than his actual play. Last season, he did have 18 goals and kind of looked like he was improving as an overall hockey player, but that went away pretty quickly, and now night after night, I'm watching him out there really not make an impact, occasionally throwing a punch or two in a pile, but not really bringing you too much more than a guy like Mark Kaslick is bringing you at a discounted rate. I don't think Frederic was going to stay with us. He is a UFA after this season and is currently injured and might not even be back before the playoffs. So the fact that not only do the Bruins get something for him, but they get a second-round pick for him is a really impressive return if you ask me. And now the Bruins are back into the second round of next year's draft, so they'll have a first-round pick, a second-round pick, and a third-round pick. So that's huge for a team looking to retool and a team that probably starts needing to actually make some draft picks instead of trading them all away. But certainly you have the draft capital to make some moves if you want to trade picks away now. So I'm happy to see Trent Frederic gone. Obviously, he was a good player, fun player to watch, exciting prospect, but he was taken way too high in the draft by us originally and was never really an exciting forward when it came to putting points on the board, although last season was a pretty good year for him. So capitalize on that. Let him walk in free agency. If someone wants to pay him or the Oilers are all about him and want to give you this trade package, I think they're going to be pretty disappointed by him in the end. So I'd much rather a team like the Bruins flip a guy like that for something when they can. So nice job by Don here. Now, if you thought I was harsh on Trent Frederic, you haven't heard me talk about Max Jones. What a waste of a signing this guy was. And I was actually pretty excited about him when we first signed him. I thought he would bring a little bit of physicality, maybe some depth scoring for us, and was kind of a good shot-in-the-dark player at a low cap hit. But man, this guy making $1 million, he's not even worth that. He's a 27-year-old forward who played in 7 games for the Bruins this season. He's 6'3", but doesn't really play like it. He's kind of a goon, takes a million penalties. He was originally selected in the first round, similar to Frederic, in the 2016 draft, 24th overall by Anaheim, but has never lived up to that. In the 7 games he played for the Bees, he had 0 points. He did play okay in the AHL in 38 games with Providence. He has 13 goals, 8 assists for a total of 21 points. But I'm happy to see this guy go as well and was honestly shocked when I saw his name attached to this trade. I kind of thought we were just stuck with that, but it's great to have an extra $1 million for next season. I would like to see us spend a little bit in free agency for some young talent, and it's always good to have that flexibility. And this is a guy who was pretty much done right off the bat in his Bruins era. He got injured, didn't play too well in his few games, and I don't think they were ever really going to give him another chance. So it's nice to see them offload that deal. Who knows? Maybe he plays well in Edmonton in a bottom 6 role, but I highly doubt it. Now let's talk a little bit about the player the Bruins are getting in this trade, defenseman Max Wanner. He's a 21-year-old, 6'3" right-shot defenseman, originally selected in the 7th round of the 2021 draft, 212 overall, by the Edmonton Oilers. So nothing to get too excited about. He was just a 7th rounder, but he has played in the AHL this season, where in 22 games for the Condors, he has a goal and an assist. He's more of a defensive defenseman, physical guy. I like that he has size. Nothing to get too excited about on the score sheet, but that's not really his game. In 90 AHL games, he has 8 goals, 11 assists for a total of 19 points. He is signed for next season as well at a very low cap hit. Obviously, he's 21 years old, so he still has some room to grow. I don't mind seeing a right-shot defenseman with size, especially if we end up trading a defensive defenseman in Brandon Carlo, who's another guy I'd like to see sold off by the Bruins here or in the offseason. It's good to have organizational depth, and at least this is a guy with size who can play physical and shut guys down defensively. I don't really care if he's putting up too many points. We have plenty of offensive defenseman options for that, or guys you could sign in the offseason. So it's a nice little depth piece. Anytime you can get a young player in return, that's a good piece to add on to the draft picks, which was really the centerpiece of this trade for the Boston Bruins. It's been a tough watch this year, Bruins fans, and I still watch them all the time. I'm a diehard black and gold Bruins fan. I still love this team, but boy, are they frustrating. So I'm happy to see them finally making some moves, and I think we need to stop overvaluing our guys who are really not playing good. The way I'm seeing Bruins fans acting like we just traded Patrice Bergeron when we traded Trent Frederic, I get it. The guy's fun to watch. He fights. He's got energy out there. He's funny on Behind the B and when he's mic'd up. But really, this isn't a player that we need to get all that worked up about. And I think you should feel the same way about guys like Morgan Geekie, who's having a nice season. But if the Bruins can flip that guy, they might even be able to get a first-round pick for that player. I would absolutely do that. I'd listen on a guy like Brandon Carlo, who I like. I think he's a nice player. But again, he's not Bobby Orr. So I want the Bruins fans to keep an open mind here and realize we are not playing well right now, and if you want us to play well and not waste David Pasternak's prime like we currently are, we need some young talent, we need some draft picks, and this is the year to do it. It's a year that we're already banged up, a year that we're not playing good, so flip off the pieces that you can, get rid of these guys who are already not playing good for you, and don't overvalue them. So hopefully the Bruins keep on going here, bring in some young talent. I'd like to see some young NHL talent added to the group, because it still scares me when this team drafts, so I'd much rather see a guy who's already pretty proven and can be a nice young talent added to our roster right away than a draft pick in the future that they might pick the wrong guy again. So let me know your thoughts. Are you devastated to see Trent Frederic go? If you're an Oilers fan, are you worried that he might not be ready for the playoffs? He would be a nice fit in a bottom 6 role for this group that's looking to go on another cup run. So who knows? Maybe he finds his game there. Good luck with Max Jones. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a big like. And if you haven't already, subscribe.